I'm Jake Williams, Associate Publisher of CyberScoop, and we're here with Timothy Lee, CISO for Los Angeles, California. Tim, thanks for being here.
Good morning, Jake.
So Tim, I think it's suffice to say there's been a lot thrown at CISOs in 2020. From your perspective, how has 2020 kind of changed the role?
Yeah, 2020 also changed the enterprise too, because a pandemic pushed the enterprise to speed up their digitization, and also, of course, that also increased the security risk tremendously. So as a CISO, not only to adapt and response to the rapidly changing environment, also need to play a constructive role in entire business decision process to address the challenge caused by the pandemic. And so, for example, City of Los Angeles, the security team worked with the other IT team together and then business leaders together to implement a secure telework platform and then move the over 20,000 city employees within a week. And that's a very good example of how security can be enabling the business values and then part of the creating the business value. So as a CISO, today's CISOs are not only managing risk, we also make sure that it's part of the enabling and creating the business value.
And you talked about it yourself. You talked about the movement of workforce to a remote situation so quickly. Obviously, that means that workforces now are so much more distributed than they were just a couple of months ago. What concepts do you believe helped with that shift? Are we talking zero trust, multi-factor authentication, microsegmentation?
Right. I see these zero trust, like microsegmentation and MFA. All these are the tools in our toolbox, but the doesn't matter how the external environment change, but the fundamental objective for cybersecurity does not change. But the tools that CISO use to address the challenge that they are facing, those change. For example, I use the NIST cybersecurity framework to develop the LA cybersecurity program. So the fundamental five basic categories like identify, protect, detect, respond, recover, those does not change. But each category, I implement different tools and a different program and procedures to achieve that each category keep changing. So for example, for City of LA, for the COVID-19 response, so the zero trust and MFA are two foundation tools that we use to implement the secure remote access, right? So those two, zero trust and MFA, will be part of my protect and detect categories for NIST frameworks. As a CISO, I need to know all these tools that are available and also be flexible to use any tools that as needed.
So you talk about the tools changing, but the threats and the technologies that those threats come with are also changing as well. So I mean, IoT and 5G continue to come online. That obviously means more technology is being brought in-house to handle those improvements. And with those improvements come supply chain concerns. How should we collectively handle those concerns while still making sure that we don't fall behind?
Yeah, because of the supply chain attack and vendor risk management is one of the hot topics for CISO recent years. For City of LA, because of the smart city initiatives and or digital transformation, the enterprise that they are facing, there's a lot of technologies that they put on their infrastructure. And the security team kind of lost the visibility on all the vendor tools that they put it on their network. Some key practice that I would recommend, number one, you got to have a good access management. And number two, you need to know your key suppliers. As part of your access management, and also you need to have a formal vendor risk management. And then also you need to have a good communication channel with your federal partners to make sure that that's all laws and regulation require you are aware of. And then for the other enterprise, if they can also join the collaboration, cybersecurity collaboration group like LA Cyber Lab, to get the most updated vendor risk information or security trends for them. So those are the key practices that we can use for the security supply chain risk management.
So one of the things that is essential to any conversation about cybersecurity is really talking about the workforce. And as these threats continue to grow in sophistication, organizations are facing that persistent challenge to recruit skilled cyber professionals capable of protecting these systems against malicious actors. How do we close the gaps that exist in the current cybersecurity education and training landscape?
Yeah, if you look at the survey recently, the workforce skill gap, it's always been on the top security challenge that organizations are facing. So, but CISO alone can't fix that issue. To me, I think it needs to be a national level strategy to address this issue. I can see the two major elements in these solutions. One is the education piece, and the other one is the workforce development piece. And then for the education piece, I give you an example, like just like what we teach our kids about the personal hygiene. I think we can also teach the children about the cyber hygiene from their young age. And then just like right now, many middle school and high school are teaching about basic coding and basic computer graphic design. I think we can also add the cybersecurity basic concept and techniques into those level of the education. For the higher education, I hope that we can see a little bit more on specialized subjects like cybersecurity data science and then cybersecurity focus AI, machine learning, and deep learning. That kind of specialize and focus on the cybersecurity. As also from the enterprise and organization, I think we should have our national level cybersecurity data set that make available to all education and private and any entities for the research and development. Right now, the data set is so important for them to develop algorithms or machine learning. But without the data set, they can do it. And then so I think we can have that kind of data sets. That's one of the cyber lab directions to partner with the higher education to make the data sets open to them to use for their research. And then also, I think one important thing is to expose them a real situation, give them the hands-on experience. Just like a soldier, I mean, the regular drill and trainings are, what they learn from drill and trainings are totally different from what they learn from real battlefield. So that's what LA Cyber Lab and City of Los Angeles, we work with higher education and host multiple open house events to open our integrated SOC and then invite all these students to come and look at what's a real daily security operations looks like and what is the real DDoS attack or what's malware attack looks like. So that kind of thing is going to be long-term and ongoing process to address this kind of challenges.
Yeah, well, and Tim, I mean, it's been, as I said at the top, it's been an interesting year of big change. I'm sure we're in for more change here in the future. Thanks for being here, Tim, and look forward to hearing more from you soon.
Thank you, Jake.